Hey Glow Getters, welcome back. So you have now completed session 1. And at the end of that session, you should have a clear vision. You should understand what to track. And that should leave you should have set aside and done your 90-day goals with structured, actionable goals. And you've got your roadmap, your action plan. So again, if you're just joining us, thank you very much for joining us. This is Module 4 we're moving on to now. We've completed Session 1 in our Vision to Action. You can sign up for this complimentary course on the website, theglowgettermentor.co.uk. Download the workbook. You can listen to the podcast. There's one for each module as well, or you can watch the videos. I know there's different types of learners out there, so it depends what suits you. And we're moving on to Session 2. This is the next step, because we're now building on this together. Aligned action and momentum. Turning goals into execution. Overcoming procrastination and self-doubt. That's why it's really important to have your daily do's. And building that consistency and resilience. So Session 2 is all about resilience and execution strategies. Book 3 that I wrote, you can see it in the background there, Glow Getter's Guide to Execute and Elevate. It's all about that. It's about elevating. It's about putting things into practice, that execution, taking action and taking aligned action. So Module 4 is the traits of resilient entrepreneurs. Our focus in this session is understanding what separates those who succeed long-term, that sustainable growth, that sustainable success, from those who stop too soon. We're going to talk about how resilience is built, not inherited. You got to do the deep work. You've got to put in the miles. You've got to do the work. The difference between reacting and responding. Being proactive versus reactive. And why setbacks are often setups in the entrepreneurial path. We all go through obstacles, hurdles, setbacks. But then that's what makes us stronger. And we learn from that. And we can build on that. And it's having that emotional discipline as a leader. That time to just pause, think, reflect. Because the core traits that we want to think about today are your adaptability, your self-belief, that confidence, emotional control, long-term thinking, and personal responsibility. What does that actually look like, that personal responsibility? That's you. That's you holding yourself accountable. Whether you have an accountability coach, whether you use an app, whether you do this course with a buddy and you have an accountability buddy. Because resilience is your ability to stay in the game long enough to win. You're business athletes. That's why you're here. So the takeaway from today, as you're listening to this session or watching this session, is to reflect on a recent challenge. What happened? How did you respond? And what would a resilient version of you do differently? Because success in entrepreneurship is not about avoiding challenges. It's how you respond to them. How you respond to those obstacles and turn them into opportunities. How you respond to those setbacks and turn them into setups. Because challenges are not the exception. They're part of the process. First attempt in learning. There's no failure unless you quit. It's the first attempt in learning. Research from the American Psychology Association defines resilience as the ability to adapt and recover from adversity. And it highlights the key factor in long-term success and well-being is resilience. Being able to reset, restore, reflect. And in business, resilience shows up as staying committed when things feel uncertain, managing emotions under pressure, and continuing forward despite the setbacks. It's not about never struggling. It's about never stopping. Resilience entrepreneurs think differently. They see failure as feedback, first attempt in learning. They take responsibility for outcomes. Things don't always go to plan, but you have that confidence and you just know that you made the best decision you could with at the time with what you had. You take responsibility for those outcomes. You learn from them. Stay focused on that long-term vision. That's why the first half of this course, Section 1, was all about creating that vision, that plan, that goal, and staying in the game. That's the biggest part of resilience, is staying in the game. Because so many people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they stop too soon. That's not you. So think about a recent challenge that you've had in your business or your personal life. And what did it teach you? There's always takeaways. What did it teach you? What could you have done differently? How could you do things different in the future? What did you learn from it? All of that is about being a good leader, because resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something that you build. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.